It's done. It's ready. Just put it out there. It's perfect. Imperfectly imperfect.
So, okay, we're going to jump right into the 5 questions.
Okay, sounds good.
This is reflecting on the year. And what's one unexpected lesson you learned or one surprising way you grew, either personally or professionally this year?
Whew, that's a really big question. Oof, okay. 2024 was definitely a growth year for me that I was not expecting at all. I retired at, gosh, back in 2005. So it's been very different for me because I was on the end of a divorce at the beginning of the year. That was a very big deal. 2023 was really hard for me. 2024 was a pivotal year for me. I actually learned something that I didn't know I needed to learn, that everyone always talks about, and it's called self-love and self-care. That I didn't know, right? Sorry. Oh my gosh, why do I do this when I'm talking with you? Because I didn't know that I needed to learn what true self-love. The 18 years of my first marriage and then the 17 years of my second marriage, I was so busy taking care and loving everybody else. You know this, you're a mom and a wife
And
and a mom and a sister and an auntie. You do all of that first before you do this. And I didn't know that. So both personally and professionally, I actually learned, and I'm still learning, haven't mastered it yet, but I'm actually learning like genuine self-love, and it feels so good to actually know it's okay. It's like I've given myself permission to really learn what it means to love yourself, put yourself first, because if you don't do that, how do you take care really
absolutely.
everybody else? I have to say is probably one of the biggest things I learned this year. It's been a complete game changer for me
Mm-hmm.
because now, and you know, I'm besties with both my ex-husbands. We're like the best of friends. I talk to them
Mm-hmm.
every day. But now I do something every night when it's quiet time. I go get my chamomile tea and I have just this quiet time where I can relax and reflect on my day. And it's completely a new experience for me that I never knew I would enjoy that much.
Mm.
And I love my life. I mean, I love my life, and I didn't expect that to happen this year.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
What was the most significant barrier you faced this year, and how did you overcome it?
I learned that I didn't know until this year at 60 that I could use a coach, right? And a mentor. I didn't know that people my age or at this time in my life that you could really benefit from coaches and mentors because I never had a coach, I never had a mentor. But I think I went a little bit overboard in that whole, yeah, because oh my gosh, Olga, shared with you.
Well, I feel, Mina, I'm sorry for being so bold, but I feel that you're the type who goes a little overboard in order to just filter through. I need a coach, but maybe not 7.
I did not need 7. So it's crazy. It's just like, what are you thinking, girlfriend? Okay. So here's what I got out of that is it became a barrier because you're hearing from 7 different voices telling you this is the only way how to do it. Not all of them were telling me that. Okay. I should make sure I say that out loud. If you want to succeed, if you want to make it, if you want to do X, Y, and Z, you got to do it this way. Then I kept hearing from one other coach that I do admire. And what she has said to me is, Mina, you got to do what feels right to you.
Mhm.
You got to do, you can listen to all of that and it may work for them, but you need to have a governor. You need to have a filter. If it doesn't feel right to you, then that isn't the way you need to go. Because what ended up happening, and this is when I finally said, okay, enough. I need to listen to what's in here because I've always known that. But I actually, Olga, I started getting panic attacks this year
Wow. Oh.
and I haven't had panic attacks in a very, 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 very long time. But I actually had to step back and go, okay, girlfriend, what is going on? Your body's getting pissed off at you right now for a reason. And I realized, it's because I'm not doing what feels right for me. I'm listening too much to what these coaches are insisting that I do, when at the end of the day, that's not what it's about. It's really about what truly feels right in your heart and up here, but definitely in here. You got to listen to, like you said, intuition. You got to, what feels good to you, because that's what's going to resonate when you can just be you. So when you're being told by an outside, who thinks they're doing right by you, that this is the only way to do it, and you think, yeah, not exactly. No, no, and no. I've had to learn to say no a lot. It's helped me to grow a lot as well.
Yeah, sure. It's not an easy thing to do. And it's painful for people who are yes people and for people. I don't want to say people pleasers here.
Oh, yes. Oh,
But I
yes.
don't want to say it here because I think you're trying to be also respectful. Oftentimes it's the hardest thing to say, to find it within yourself to say no.
Yes.
Even if all of those other pieces are kind of there, you're like, oh, but financially would be good, or economically would be good, or
Yes.
time-wise it would be good. But if it doesn't, something
It's
that we
so
talked
true.
about before the call, and that is something I just want to throw out there, and that is fear versus intuition. And that is, if it's something that like your gut is telling you that, but maybe not because of you're fearful of doing something new, but because it just doesn't feel right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very important to listen to that.
Bingo. It's so true. And part of why it's hard, I mean, like, honestly, why it was such a struggle for me, I've never been in this entrepreneur world. I've done other fun things and I had a great career, but to suddenly be in a completely new world. But when you start to realize you're getting told this is the only way you can do it, that's just not true. You do what feels right to you. And that's been a hard lesson for me because I was putting too much stock. I invested in all of this. And then I think, well, I need to listen to them because what if they're right? But it's that voice that's saying, Mina, you're having panic attacks for a reason. So,
I'm going to jump into question number 3.
okay.
If it's connected to what you were just saying, if you could give your past self at the beginning of the year just one piece of advice, knowing what you know now, what would it be?
Yeah, it's definitely from the previous question to carry over. Not all the shiny objects are really shiny. They're not, and if it doesn't feel right, this is what I would tell myself in the very beginning. If it doesn't feel right, Mina, it's probably because it's not. You should step back and really evaluate, because your body's going to get pissed off at you if you're not listening to it. Our body screams at us. I mean, we know that. And my body was screaming at me. So I would tell myself, girlfriend, when you start to feel that screaming, or you hear that screaming, it's your body telling you to change, to pivot, because it's not for you if it doesn't feel right. That's what I would tell myself.
That's excellent. What's one thing you're intentionally carrying with you into the new year, and one thing you're intentionally leaving behind?
I am intentionally going to continue to bring love and grace, not just for me, but for others, into the new year. And my energy, for sure. What was the second part of the question?
Leaving behind
Oh,
purposefully.
no. Okay. I need
One thing.
just one. Okay.
There's a suitcase for me, like One,
Yeah, you're like, here's the list. Whoop. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, one thing I need, and this is a hard thing for me because I need to actually learn this. I need to learn that there are still people in this world who are wolves in sheep's clothing.
Hmm.
And I need to learn how to trust myself because I trust. That's just an automatic thing for me. I trust really easily and I get burned.
Mhm.
And I don't want to carry that with me into the new year. So I have to figure out because it hurts. It really hurts when you think that, and we talked about this earlier too, is you think that these people have your best interest at heart and they really do care about you because they're so kind and friendly, when in reality, they just want a piece of your pie and to advance what they're doing. And then when you get the courage to push back and say, whoa, wait a second, this doesn't feel right. It suddenly the tables turn and they become the victim
Mhm.
and that you threw them under the bus or something. I have to work on that. I really have to work on being too trusting.
So you're carrying in the love and you're leaving behind, how would you phrase it? Because we did talk about before the recording, we did talk about the difficulty of within ourselves building boundaries. So how would you package it?
I would probably tell myself, if I had to give myself advice, you really need to make sure that this person is genuine because I've learned really hard lessons this year. I don't want to go into 2025 making the same mistake. I'm just going to be much more guarded and not changing my personality, but just be more careful about who I give my trust to.
Thank you for sharing this. The fifth question, the last question, who is another woman who has inspired you this year and why?
Okay. Can I share about two women or just one?
It's so nice that you ask. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. This is probably going to sound so like off the wall, but my first share, and it's going to sound a little goofy. Most people won't expect this, but my Target shopper. Okay. And here's why. I just started doing the Target thing, because it's the holidays. I've been busy with meetings and all this. I joined that Target thing, the Target shopper, where they can shop for you. She was so lovely. Okay. I gave my list of wrapping paper and bugs and all the things that I can't get to the store right now. I just can't steal away. She was checking in with me and taking pictures and going, are these okay? I'm not used to that. I just thought, bless your heart. Because I've had other shoppers who just do the thing and then they drop it off and then they're gone. She went above and beyond her expectations, right? And then so today she dropped off all my stuff. This is why it's so fresh on my mind. And I was so grateful to her because I ordered one of those gingerbread houses, right? Because we're going to do that on Christmas with the kids. And she even shared with me, Mina, I shook it. I shook it to make gently to make sure there weren't any broken pieces. I mean, just like she just did such kind things that if I was the personal shopper for someone, whether it's Target or Safeway or whatever, you want to know that that person is shopping the way you would shop. And that left me so inspired. And at the end of it, she said to me, thank you so much. Because I was so grateful. I was like gushing about how the experience was so wonderful. And she said, thank you. Because yesterday I had a really bad experience with a customer. And so I said to her, well, I think you're fabulous. I mean, I appreciate you so much. So she just inspired me because she didn't have to do those things at all. Okay. So here's my number one, though. And you probably already know who I'm going to say. Okay. And this comes from my heart, Olga, because I think about this year for me. Okay. If I hadn't joined a challenge that I didn't even know what a challenge was this
Hmm.
year. I didn't even know, and I know you've heard me say this already, I didn't even know what Zoom was. Okay. I didn't. Okay, this is going to show my age. I thought Zoom was a show that I used to watch when I was a kid. Oh my gosh. And no, I haven't been living under a rock, but like seriously, I didn't know what Zoom was. It was a show. It was like a kid show on PBS or something, like the Zoom.
Wow.
So that's what I thought Zoom was. And so this is the first year I've been on Zoom. And the first year I actually went on Zoom was to go on this challenge. Well, I met an amazing woman from that Zoom. And why she's so amazing, it goes back to everything I've already said here that you've asked me about trust and friendship and coaches, everything that I've learned this year. Who has inspired me and really cares about me, not because she wants any money from me or a piece of my pie, but genuinely cares about me, and that person is you. Okay,
You're
Olga?
gonna make it, Mina. You gotta stop this. I need to make it like a requirement. You cannot pick me.
That's not fair because then I'm not being true. I
Oh,
no.
you're making
Ol-
me cry.
oh, Olga, I
Oh,
just like you have been such a friend to me this year who's like really guided me, and you may not even realize that, but you've been such a positive light in my life. Like you've always been there for me, always, and you never want anything from me. And every time you ask me like if I'll be on a show with you, I'm so happy to be on with you because I get to see your sweet face and feel the aloha love, and that's just you. That's you. And you inspire me. Ugh, okay, hold on. You inspire me so much in just how you are. You're so real. And I absolutely adore you because you truly care. And so if I had never been on that challenge and learned what Zoom was or what a challenge is, I would have never met you. And I'm truly grateful for you, and you inspire me. You inspire me with the things that you share with me on DM, the things you post, and just who you are. You're a beautiful soul, and I'm so grateful to know you. And I'm so grateful that you always hold space for me no matter what.
oh,
So you are it.
I don't have enough words to say anything. I'm not even sure I can put it on the show anymore.
Oh, God, I love
Meet and record a thing, and I'm gonna ask you a question about a woman, and you make sure that you say it's me.
Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you asked that question. I don't think I
So,
don't
so listeners and viewers, I did something different this particular time, and that is I did ask 5 exact questions, and all of my beautiful guests received the questions ahead of time. But I did not script any of this.
of course not. Oh my gosh. No,
I'm,
honey,
I'm really grateful for what you said. So
it's who
I'm
you
I'm
are.
really grateful to you for spending time with it and acknowledging it and sharing it. And I'm really so blessed to have met you and to have, we've only for now we're meeting next year for sure, but
Yes,
we've
yes.
only been able to meet online, but it's been such a treat for me. And going back to a couple of difficult questions and answers that you delivered, and that is for people who may not be quite as genuine, it's a real hope and inspiration to meet someone who is genuine and who is just on the same wavelength as yourself. So I'm so grateful and thank you so much. Is there something else you would like to share with our listeners and viewers? And that is maybe a question of your own or a thought or something to look forward to, reflect on 2024 and look forward to in 2025?
I forgot about that question. So,
Because it was not a question, it was just like,
or it was just
maybe.
a thought. Yes, yes. Okay, so here's my thing. I always choose love, no matter what. Always choose love. even when things are hard, even when you feel like I can't do this anymore, or I'm failing, or today's another day, always choose love because love always wins. It just does. And I always say this too, so I'm going to say it again because it's sort of the philosophy that I have. I share this. If you're not having fun and you're not doing it with love, you're not doing it right. Because you got to have fun. Just find the love and the fun. Like always hit that inner child in you, because that's what you see in me. Is I'm not ever going to let go of that little girl, because that's what keeps our hearts young. And, just loving on life. Everything is just new all the time and exciting for me. Not every time, but when you let that child in you come out to play, that's what happens. And I got to ask you a question. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so back at you. What is the one unexpected lesson that you learned, or one surprising way that helped you grow, either personally or professionally? Your first question.
What comes to me instantly is probably it's the first year where my body started screaming at me in different ways. I'm a very healthy person, and it just started screaming. First there were just glimpses, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then full force. And it's interesting because it took me probably a full year, probably 10 and a half months
Yeah.
to really listen, because I would listen for a second and I'm like, this is unusual for me. And then I would keep going. And then, well, this is unusual. And I would keep going. And then I was like, this is not normal. So listening, but truly listening, because I feel we're divine beings and I've always known it, but this is truly the first time I am realizing that we're so incredibly intelligent. We already have all the answers within. So this is probably the one thing. It came with a bit of pain, but hopefully I'm realizing that I really need to start listening and then correct.
Good for you. Yes.
So none of this is scripted, which is fabulous, but it's real. It makes it real. So
Yeah.
I want to say, the second, since you asked, the second, I would probably say expectations. I had very high expectations for this year, to the point where I felt that they became my obstacle. So something that has been an interesting lesson, but something that I really need to truly learn from.
Yes, yes, yes. I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for asking.
Of course.
This
Of
is
course.
very different.
But yeah, I really wanted to know like what you came away with. And I love, because I'm all about health and clean and, strength and feeling good. I love that you actually recognize that, because a lot of people would just keep going and thinking whatever, whatever, whatever until they hit the wall. So I love that you are, and that you're sharing that. So thank you.
Thank you.
I love you. Thank you.